Hello there and welcome back to another edition of the Hot Lap Classic Remastered, and this time we'll continue our look at the cars of the Project A-Spec mod with the 1992 BMW Nazca C2. This was a concept car produced by Nazca initially, and then BMW basically gave them the engine, so it became the BMW Nazca. A very cool looking car. I believe there were talks of putting this into production, but it never really happened, similar to, I think it was the Mercedes-Benz C111 around this time as well. It has the front end very reminiscent of like a 5 Series, which I do think looks very cool on a supercar. And then the rest of it's sort of all Nazca design. I think eventually BMW pulled out of this, and then the car just became the Nazca, but it still had the same V12 BMW engine in it. Admittedly, a V12 BMW engine that was a 1990s BMW V12 engine, which made about 350 horsepower stock. Of course, thanks to A-Spec, this car could be upgraded a little bit more, but the power's still not as great as you maybe would expect from a V12 powered supercar. I also, don't quote me on this, but I think the gearbox in this might also be from a 7 Series, so I'm expecting some sort of lumbering automatic gearbox, but we will find out when it gets on the track. Mid-engined, rear-wheel drive, 504 horsepower, 926 kilograms. I have no idea what to compare this to. I don't really think there's a lot of cars in the base game that are like this. Do we have? We have a 5-speed of some description. A 5-speed where the power just doesn't happen. Okay, interesting. Anyways, to find out how quick the BMW Nazca C2 is, it is going to get 6 laps of the Motorsports Land track in order to set the best time it possibly can. Our current leader is the Suzuki Escudo Pikes Peak version of that car, set a time of 25.696. The Nazca C2, as it drives at the moment, is unlikely to beat that. In terms of Project A-Spec cars, the quickest of which was the BAR01. That's at a time of 26.270. It is difficult now remembering to say 2 times in case you were curious, so if I ever miss one of them out, apologies. Usually I will get the overall leaderboard leader because that's the one I'm used to saying, but obviously if you're ever curious on what the quickest Project A-Spec car is, for the vast majority of these episodes, apart from some which we'll get to, you're going to have that sort of record there. That's set by something. So that'll be the quickest A-Spec time. That's what the rest of these cars are competing against, if that makes sense. Straight away with the Nazca, yeah, the gearbox on this is trash. I'm having to use first gear. It's very long as well. Again, I suspect this is a 7 Series gearbox, if I had to guess. On the base car anyway. I don't know what the A-Spec team have done in terms of their own tuning for this, but yeah, the actual gearbox itself is just very slow, is the way I would describe it, which isn't great. It's one of those engines where if this was mated to a short speed box, i.e. if I put the fully customizable transmission in it, which I don't, as discussed prior. Actually, okay, we're getting on something here. Yeah, if this was shorter ratio, I think this would be very, very quick indeed. Because to be honest with you, outside of the gearbox, that's my only real gripe with this, because it gets out the corners very well, handles pretty well. A little bit on the heavy side, but I like a car that's a little bit on the heavy side. I like my cars how I like my women, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, a little bit of slide out that final corner. Fortunately, that was not the final lap, and we were not on for anything spectacular there. Does not like that section so much. A little bit sort of wayward through there, but overall not the worst. Ooh. Yeah, it really doesn't like the bumps, actually. It really doesn't like the bumps. As soon as it gets some traction, it just sort of shoots you off, which is interesting. Not really experienced anything quite like that before, I don't think, or at least as far as I can think. In terms of lap time, though, it actually puts in a really funny spot, so yeah, I'm quite pleased we got the lap time out of it. I was a little bit worried towards the start of it. At the end of the day, for like a 900 kilo supercar, it doesn't really feel all that fantastic to drive. Again, I think a short ratio gearbox would work wonders on this. Although I don't know if it would also perhaps promote the issues it's having in terms of its traction over the grassy verges. And so as a result of that, the lap time is mostly all over the place. Sector 1, lap 5 is notably quicker, but also, again, as I've sort of described before, Sector 1 and Sector 2 sort of feed into each other, so you can't always take that for gospel. But overall, I'm pretty happy with that. And again, where it goes on the leaderboard actually is quite poetic. A 29.442 will place this into 169th. It goes in between the Ford Transit and the Toyota Supra CDMA 1. That sounds disappointing, but you might notice just ahead of this car is the Venturi Atlantique 400 GT, which thanks to the GT2 Plus mod had a turbocharger on it, so it was much more powerful than it is normally. And the Vector M12, which again, another car with sort of a bit of a lazy gearbox in it. So, in terms of sort of the boutique supercars of its era, it's sort of right with them, right with the M12 and the Atlantique. There's not really a lot more to compare it to. It is quicker than the Lister Storm V12. It is quicker than a Shelby Cobra Daytona. There's not really many supercars around here. It is quicker than the Roof BTR2. It is also quicker than the Ferrari 355, which I think is quite an achievement because the 355 had a lot more power than this. Yeah, overall, a bit of a disappointing one. I think, again, honestly, if it had a better gearbox from stock, it would be quicker. And I think you would be looking at sort of a 28-second car then. But, again, would that introduce more handling issues? I'm not really too sure. But either way, a pretty good time from the Nazca. Anyways, that's it for this episode. Thank you all very much for watching. Join me next time when I'll be driving something completely different. Until then, farewell.